Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a no-run-through review for Onitama, but also the Way of the Wind expansion. So, I don't think I've ever done a review. No, because I never wanted to do a review or a run-through of Onitama because it's sitting there and staring at the board.
Yeah.
But Onitama has been one of the first games I played outside of chess. Because a friend of mine at the time was like, "Oh, you don't like chess? Here, let's try Onitama." And I'm like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!"
Yep.
So real quick, we'll talk about Onitama, and then we'll get into the expansion. I think Onitama is fantastic. If you have aversions to chess or abstract games, definitely give this one a shot because there's just so much variety to it.
Correct.
The way it's played is both you and your opponent. Every game will only ever have 5 cards in it. And those 5 cards dictate how every single piece on the board can move. But they're all in these wacky, weird, I don't know, I want to say constellations, but it's not. It's supposed to be kind of I don't know, symbols that... the game we just played was boar, rat, octopus, goose, and spider. And what's fascinating about that is, in chess, obviously, certain pieces can move specific ways.
Yep.
And this doesn't have that. At any given point, your 5 pieces can do some weird
Stuff.
some very weird stuff.
Yep.
And the cards that are out will kind of dictate how the game is going to go and which card. There's always, I feel like every game I've ever played, there's always one card that is better than the rest.
Correct.
And whoever happens to be dealt that is kind of hoarding it.
Yep, as long as they can.
Yeah. And what's fascinating, I think that was one of the first times that I positioned myself in a way to take that card, because normally I don't, and it's up to the other player to be like, all right, now I'm going to use it. But I was like, okay, I'm going to move here, because I know he has to use boar, and I want boar.
Yeah.
And I end up giving it right back to you 2 turns later. Right. I'm like, oh, well, okay, I guess I don't value it as much. It's just such a simple, neat concept. In terms of theme, they give you, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but the Japanese symbols are shaped like what they're saying. And then they have really cool, proverbs underneath that I always thought was just pretty neat and atmospheric.
Yep.
What do you think of Onitama?
I like it a lot. I agree. If you have an aversion to abstract games, this is a great one to start with because while you have tons of options, you only ever have to think about 5 different ones in a game. And they're always visible. So I would call it's the cheat cards continuously out for every single player.
That's true, yeah.
So in chess, you have to memorize how every piece moves. This... I don't need to memorize it. I can exactly see what boar is going to do on your side. So it's a reverse, it's a T for me. It's a upside down T for you.
Yep.
So I can see that if you use boar with this pawn, it can only move in 3 different spots. And I can see that.
Just from the orientation alone, just how they're facing each other, it's not can you reverse that so I can see how you move? You know how some games have that where it's just weird. Nope, you look at it. Now, the pieces can kind of get in the way.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of okay. And then sometimes, because it's so simple, I'm, paranoid. I'll take a move and I'm like, okay, hold on. Can you weirdly do something different that I'm missing?
Right. But, where in chess, there's enough open information for you to be able to plan out lots of moves ahead once you get good at this game. Here, because you don't know what your opponent's going to choose of the 2 cards, you could hoard boar for a long time, but what you always know is you're going to get spider next turn.
Yeah.
So you plan from one of your 2 moves, and only 2 moves, with the idea, I'm going to get spider next turn. And then you have to make the next adjustment next turn, so you're only ever really planning 1, maybe 2 moves ahead. But that's it.
Yeah, exactly. In tying in with what you just said, the other thing you have to keep in mind is, what am I allowing my opponent to do? I think we just played That Time You Killed Me, and this has something similar, is that the learning curve to Onitama is not the cards. They're very straightforward. There's no special abilities. There's no...
Right.
This is just what you can do. I think the learning curve is understanding where your opponent's pieces are.
Yeah.
And, if I give you Boar, or if I give you Rat, or whatever, what can you then do with that?
Yep.
And that's whenever certain cards are very, very, powerful. And it really, it's not... I'm not saying that... Because this is all the cards for, just the base game. There's a bunch in here. And I don't remember how, but I got some gold-plated ones, which are sexy.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got those. I need to see if I can find the other ones. Anyway, none of these are outright, better than the others. There are some that are my favorite, but, if you look at Dragon, that is such a wacky card.
Right.
But it's so situational.
Correct.
And you have to plan for that. There might be games that I haven't seen it, but there might be a game where Tiger is completely useless.
Yep.
Like I said, I haven't seen it because it's always kind of helpful.
But we knew Boar just from the get-go because we played enough games in this. Boar was going to be good because it gave you 3 different directions to move fairly efficiently. I started realizing Goose wasn't bad. My problem with Goose is the only way to move forward is you also have to go to the left.
Yeah.
Every time you want to move
you're
forward,
right. It is
you
always
had to
left.
go to the left.
Yeah.
Where Boar, you could just go straight, and that gives you more options.
Yep. Yeah, and then if we ever wanted to move back, it was always diagonal.
Correct.
So, we had options. I think Rat was diagonal right, Goose was diagonal left.
Octopus was No, it's right too.
Oh, it is right, yeah.
All of them were right, going diagonally right
Oh,
back.
they were, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and how I ended up winning this particular game was, funny enough, not with Boar. Was with the Way of the Wind cards, because I was able to, I hop down and kind of diagonal onto your place. So yeah, how you win is kind of similar in chess. You take their king, or you have the master land on, and I like that. I always like having alternate ways to victory, especially in abstract games.
Yep.
Because that, I feel like, lessens the skill curve, or it kind of goes both ways. I feel like it maybe balances out because, it's not just, okay, well, I just know how to take your king. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to try to take your master, I guess. I'm going to try and land on it. But then you can block it.
Yep.
So, Onitama, phenomenal game. The only negative I have for it, I despise that box.
Oh, really?
I really hate it. It's so stupid to store. It's nice because this was one of the first games that came out, retail, that had a neoprene mat that I can think of. And so, it's different. But man, just storing it on my shelf is dumb. With all the expansions, the 2 expansions, it's just weird. Because the insert was super nice. Yeah, everything fit, had the little slots for the...
It fits in a Calyx shelf, doesn't it, standing up?
Not the way I store. Okay. I don't store vertically. It might. I never actually thought about it. It probably would.
See, I store and that's probably why I store all my games vertically.
Okay.
So I always look at a box as a vertical.
I see. Then yeah, it's good for that. But I store horizontally, so it's just weird. It's always been an awkward box.
Yep.
Unique, and if you only have the base game, then it's perfect because it has a slot for the roll-up mat, and then for the places.
Everything fits in it.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give just Onitama?
Oh, easily probably 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up there as well in terms of. I talked this game up. This was one of the first things that I was like. Once I played this, I never had an inkling to even play chess again.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why would I? If someone's like, you want to play chess? It's like, or we can play this. I'm gonna give for an abstract game. I'm probably gonna give it a 10. I genuinely like it. I have no complaints over it. I love the variety with the cards.
Yep.
I think for me, it's pretty much the perfect abstract game. I've taught this to so many people,
and that's what it's great for. To me, it's that opening abstract game to someone.
Yeah, with still depth. It's not like, I taught you, okay, now this is kind of beneath us.
But that's what I love about abstract games is, honestly, you can go to the basics and it's still mine versus mine. So as long as they're kind of equal,
that's true.
It just gets better.
That is true. And the other reason I'm going to give this a 10 is one of the reasons why I don't like chess is I played it against a friend who always beat me. Funny enough, the same friend who was the reason why I hated Magic for the longest time.
There's some correlations.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. No, he's a great guy. With Magic, though, I didn't have any cards, so he gave me his decks, and then would play decks that would better against. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But no, played this against him and beat him every time. So suck it. But yeah. So with that being said, Way of the Wind.
And
We both were like, eh.
it didn't improve the game.
No.
It didn't change the game, in my opinion.
No. It's there. It was a small box expansion. Like it was very tiny.
Yeah.
This is the it's there.
I wouldn't say buy it, but like if you got as a combo, cool.
I guess, yeah. Because it's not like with one of the other great things about Onitama is that you're not going to be like, well, we've seen all the cards. Because I mean, just shuffling all of them, you're going to get a different even
if you saw all the cards, you're not going to get the same combination of cards.
And even if you did get the same combination, it's still going to be. I mean, it's
a
the same
different
thing.
game.
Yeah, it's going to be a different game.
Yeah.
So Way of the Wind, what it does is it adds this weird wind spirit. It's supposed to be, I think, is an otter
or a cat or something.
Yeah, it's something that it doesn't do anything. I mean, it kind of does. Obviously, it does. It allows you to block spaces because pawns can't willingly move in there. But if you move it into a spot with a pawn and only a student, it swaps with them. Now that's fine, except I found that to be useless because I like the cards it brings.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a two-purpose card. Is you can move your student or master from the top, and then you move the wind spirit off the bottom. But the problem that I found with these was you have to go top to bottom.
Right.
I felt many times it would have been way more beneficial and strategical if I could then be like, oh, I'm gonna swap with your student and then take the piece.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, it never got in our way.
Nope.
I think I was the only one that actually used it to swap your pieces.
Yeah.
Did that ever hinder like what you were gonna do? Were you ever like, oh no, you took?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was like, okay, it's just a piece on the board,
Right.
and it comes with. Well, some of these are actually pretty interesting because some of these aren't. They don't even move the wind spirit, like the Okija. It allows you to move your student one forward or your master like that. So I wonder if you could just take these and just incorporate them in the base game and not even have to
Worry about
the wind spirit. I guess technically you could.
Yeah.
You can just ignore the bottom part.
Right.
Or since there are cards like these, like if it's student, top and master and bottom, if you kind of just do the same thing with the ones that include the wind spirit and just be like, okay, students top, masters bottom.
Yep.
I wonder if that would, or if it would break the game. I mean, because some of these are neat. Once again, adding really cool creatures, but it didn't matter.
It didn't change the game up
Yeah.
all that much.
Yeah, I really have nothing else to say about that. It's such a simple. I wouldn't say go out and get it.
No.
It's like a 5 out of 10. Like it's average. It's an expansion.
It's not. It doesn't hurt the game. It doesn't help the game.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't prolong the game. That's where like an expansion that just adds time, I always hate.
That's true.
It didn't add any more time to the game.
Yeah, because the way you set it up is you actively include each person starts with a Way of the Wind card, and then you do 3 others, and you can modify it other ways where it's just where was it? So you can do greater wind spirits, so you can do 3 wind spirits and 2 move cards, 4 and 1, and just all wind spirit cards. But maybe if you're doing that, I feel like if you're going to do the Way of the Wind expansion, you probably just go all in.
Yeah.
And it's just 5 cards.
Yeah.
Because then it'll probably start affecting it a lot more, but at least the standard 2 and 3 was whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our thoughts on Oni. Oh, you were giving it a 5 as well, or?
For the expansion.
Yeah.
The expansion
Yeah.
5, it's whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't change like Onitama at all. I mean, the only thing it could have done was lower my score, but I don't think you're like, oh man, now it's a 9.
No, and I don't think Onitama would go down just because the Wind Spirit was in it either.
Yeah.
It didn't improve it. It didn't hurt it. So.
If Onitama's the only game you have and you just played the shit out of it, then it'll add some variety. But I would recommend just getting other games at that point. All right, so that's our thoughts on Onitama and Onitama Way of the Wind. Let us know what you think of them in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.